Alright guys, so before I get into specific reasons as to why you should start investing into the stock market today, let me first introduce you to a very important term I created. It's called freedom price. So what is your freedom price? Everyone's is different. So your freedom price is simply put is just the dollar amount or the capital you need to put into the stock market or your portfolio. Portfolio is when you refer to your stocks in a group or aggregately. So it's the dollar amount or capital you need to put into your portfolio in order for it to generate enough passive income on a month-to-month basis for you to cover all your expenses. So how do you get that number? All you have to do is first calculate how much money you need in order to cover your monthly expenses on a monthly basis. So after you get that monthly number or amount you need, you just multiply that by 12 to get your annual amount. After you can get that annual amount, you want to divide that by your implied average dividend yield. And I say implied average because starting off from day one of your investing journey, you're going to start off investing into these big blue chip companies, which I recommend. And the average yield is anywhere between 2 to 4%. These companies are growing their dividend on average 6 to 8, 9%. So you want to get an average from the first day you start investing up until the day you reach your freedom price. So an average dividend yield, a number somewhere in between. So for me, that is 6%. And that is definitely being somewhat conservative on the lower end of the spectrum. So let's use my scenario as an example. So for me, all I need is about $1,200 in order to cover my monthly expenses, at least in the future, because I do plan on going with my wife to Colombia, and that is just a different situation. If you're living here, your price and the amount you need is definitely different and higher. So $1,200, multiply that times 12, I need about $14,400 a year. After that, we divide that by 0.06. I am expecting at least a 6% average dividend yield, which is the average yield from the day I first started investing to when I reached that freedom price, which I believe in my calculations may be about 10 years from now. So we get 14,400, we divide that by 0.06, and that gives us 240,000. So I need about $240,000 in the stock market of my capital that I have to put in order for me to be able to generate enough passive income for me to obtain freedom, at least freedom from work or from being completely dependent on an employer for a source of income. So that's how you calculate your freedom price. Alright guys, so now that we know our freedom price, let me get into point number one as to why you should start investing into the stock market today. Alright, so I have a yield on cost calculator pulled up on my phone, which you could see on the screen right next to me. So assuming I don't put in any more capital into my portfolio anymore after I reach my freedom price, I will still be receiving a 6% increase in pay every single year from these dividend paying companies. And as you can see, so we start off with year one earning $14,400, which is the amount we calculated using my freedom price. And after that, the second year, we would be receiving $864 more, which is about $72 more on a monthly basis the second year. And then the third year, we would be receiving 6% more of $15,264. And as you could see, it does grow exponentially, little by little. If we were reinvesting those dividends, the growth in our yearly income would be a lot higher. But I'm assuming that in my situation, that I would be spending all my money and that I wouldn't be having any aside for purchasing more stock. So as you can see, every year me and my wife are going to be making more income, even though we haven't added any new capital to the stock market. Year 10, over $24,328, and that's almost double of our yearly income on year one, and that's without having to put in any more effort into purchasing new stock. So that's one of the beautiful things about stock market investing, is that Once you get the amount of capital you need to be able to cover your monthly expenses, every year you're going to be having more money that you could use as fun money, which it's for things that you like, or hobbies, or traveling, discretionary spending money. So as you can see, as we start getting further down, year 25, a little over 58,000. Year 30, a little over 78,000. Year 35, a little over 100,000. It does start growing at a faster rate the more years that have passed. Another very important note that I just want to throw out there really quick is that money and time are equally as valuable in the world of stock market investing. So the younger you start investing, the better, because you have more time for your investments to grow on their own, because they are growing in value year over year, and what they're producing is growing in value year over year. In this example, I'm not even taking into account the capital gains or the percentage increases in stock price, because stock prices, and especially stock prices of big blue chip companies, tend to go up year over year at an average of 8 to 10%, as the S&P 500 does. So this is without taking that into account. Alright guys, and the final point as to why you should start investing is that if you're working a job and you have an employer, that's ordinary income, and that is taxed depending on if you're making from $0 a year to up to $40,000 a year. That's taxed anywhere between 10 to 12% on the higher end of the spectrum. And if you're making anywhere between $40,000 a year from your job, from working for an employer, anywhere between $40,000 a year and $500,000 a year, that income is taxed at 22% on the lower end of the spectrum and 35% as you go higher up on the spectrum. On the other hand, dividends, they're usually qualified. Most dividends are qualified, and especially of these big blue chip companies, most of those dividends are qualified, which means that they're taxed at the capital gains tax rate. And if you're making $0 up to about $40,000, you're taxed at a 0%. So you don't have to pay anything back if you're making less than $40,000. So you get to keep your money to yourself. If your portfolio, let's say you save up a lot and your freedom price is a lot higher, and your portfolio generates more than $40,000 a year, it would only be taxed at 15% on the lower end. And if it produces near to $500,000 a year in passive income, then it would be taxed at about 20%. That's the capital gains tax rate, and that's another incentive as to why you should start investing, is because as you start receiving more money and your annual pay increases, because your dividends payments increase year over year at an average of 6%, as I mentioned, on the more conservative side, you will be paying either 0% up until your portfolio starts generating $40,000, and then just 15%, which is a lot less than just the regular tax rate of you working for an employer. So there's a lot of tax advantages to owning stocks, and it's just an incredible idea of knowing that once you achieve your freedom price, even if it does take several years, once you achieve it, your pay year over year will increase, and you will have to give either 0% or a very low percent back to the government when you file your taxes. And in this example, I'm using if you file single. If you're filing married, you would just simply double that. So it would be 0 to about $80,000, and then you would be taxed. You would have 0 capital gains tax on your qualified dividends, which are most, as I mentioned. So anywhere from 0 to $80,000 if you file your taxes jointly. Thanks for staying till the end, guys. This was definitely a very interesting video to make. I had a lot of fun doing it, and just even putting these ideas on paper and writing down what constantly goes through my head. I research dividend companies for fun. This is all very fun and interesting to me. Just this whole idea of money, growing your money, having it work for you. So if you're interested, definitely subscribe, leave a like, and if you have any questions, definitely leave a comment. I'll definitely get back to you. Thanks for staying till the end again. I'll see you guys.